Good morning, children. We are starting the first chapter, Chemical Reactions and Equations. We are starting the first chapter, Chemical Equations and Reactions. Now the chapter starts with chemical changes. Now what is a chemical change? A chemical change is a change which is a permanent change. A chemical change is a change in which new substances are formed, and chemical change is actually a change in which we can say that it is an irreversible change. So here we are showing you an activity where a irreversible change has taken place. In this we have taken some iron new nails. Now these nails are kept in water, and what we see after few days that the nails start showing rusting. What is the meaning of rusting? It forms a coating of iron oxide. Now this coating of hydrated iron oxide is rust, which is actually a permanent change, which is an irreversible change, and this change cannot be reversed back, right? After that, we are going to discuss about the characteristic features of a chemical change. What are the characteristic features of a chemical change? There is generally a change in the color of the substance. As we know that the color of iron is grayish, but when the rust formation takes place, the color is reddish brown. That indicates what? That a chemical change has taken place. Now, next thing is that the physical state of the substance normally changes. See, iron is very hard substance, but the rust is a type of reddish brown flakes. Now, third thing is that in some cases a gas may be evolved. Suppose I say that I put some hydrochloric acid on some pieces of zinc. Now, what happens? Hydrogen gas is evolved. So, evolution of gas actually indicates that a chemical change has taken place. In some cases, a precipitate might be formed. Example of a precipitation reaction we have discussed earlier also in your offline classes, that is whenever we take a solid substance, a colorless one, we add another colorless one, we get an insoluble precipitate that has been formed. This insoluble precipitate or substance which is insoluble, that is example that precipitation has taken place. Okay. Now children, we are going to discuss the balancing of a chemical equation. Why should I balance a chemical equation? Now the balancing of a chemical equation means in a chemical equation, we have to find out the number of reactants on the left hand side is equal to the number of products, that is the number of atoms present in the reactant side equal to the number of atoms in the product side. Then that type equation is called a balanced chemical equation. See this equation, we have hydrogen plus oxygen that gives you water. In this equation, what we see that two molecules of hydrogen react with one molecule of oxygen and we get two molecules of water. If you separately count the number of atoms of hydrogen on the left hand side and number of hydrogen on the right hand side, what we find that each case is number of hydrogen is 4. That means we can also say that the number of oxygen on the right hand side and number of oxygen on the left hand side, both of them are same. If they are same, then we call it as a balanced chemical equation. Now after that the question comes, why should we balance a chemical equation? A chemical equation is balanced because it follows the law of conservation of mass. It follows the law of conservation of mass. In order to follow this law of conservation of mass, we need to balance a chemical equation, right? See, after that we are going to discuss about the information conveyed by a chemical equation. Now what we see, a chemical equation is actually the shorthand representation of the whole chemical process. So when I write a chemical equation, I indirectly give all information that a chemical equation can convey. Now when I say all information that is conveyed in a chemical equation, we should know that a chemical equation tells us about the reactants and the product. Suppose you say this equation, that is iron reacting with water, it gives you Fe2O3 plus hydrogen, right? In this we have mentioned about the reactant. In this case the reactant is ferrum and the reactant is water, and it also tells us what are the products. The product here we get is Fe2O3 and hydrogen gas. So in a way I can say that a chemical equation tells us about the reactants and the product. Then it also informs us about the ratio of the reactants and the product. In this case, what is the ratio? The ratio of iron is to water is 2:3. And what am I getting? I am getting only 1 mole of Fe2O3 and I am getting 3 moles of hydrogen. Now Next thing, that a chemical equation tells us about the symbol. In this case, we know that the symbol of iron is Fe, and the formula of water is H2O. So in a way, it tells us about the information about the hydrogen, information about water. It tells us information about the reactants, that is iron, and it tells us about the information about that is Fe2O3. Now see the next reaction. We have magnesium plus nitrogen. In this case, can you just see that magnesium is represented by S? What is that S indicating? The S is indicating the nature of magnesium. That is, magnesium's nature is S, solid, and nitrogen's nature is gas. Nitrogen is a gas and magnesium is a solid, and it is forming Mg3N2. Mg3N2 is what? It is magnesium nitride, and it is actually in the form of a solid also. So ultimately it tells us about the state of the reactants and that of the product. That is, what is the nature of the reactant, whether it is a solid reactant or it is a gaseous reactant. Ultimately the product we get, what is the nature of the product, whether the nature of the product is a solid or that of a liquid. All this information it actually conveys. After that, we see a chemical equation gives information about the weight. About the weight means, see here I can see that in this reaction there is 3 moles of magnesium is reacting with 1 mole of nitrogen. What is the weight of 3 mole of magnesium? Each mole of magnesium's weight is 24. So in this case, 3 moles of magnesium, the weight is 72 gram. It also tells us what is the weight of nitrogen needed. The nitrogen needed here is 28 gram or 1 mole of nitrogen. So ultimately it tells us about all information regarding the weight, regarding the nature, and regarding the state of the reactants, and also as the product. A chemical equation tells us about number of gaseous molecules. It also tells us information whether the reactants are gases or the product we are getting is gases, right? In some cases, a chemical equation tells us about the physical state of the reactant. So these are some of the information that is conveyed by a chemical reaction or a chemical equation. This equation represents the whole chemical reaction. Now see, we have an example. Suppose I have this reactant over here is calcium carbonate. This calcium carbonate, on heating, it is giving us calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. What we know, the color of calcium carbonate is white. It is a white solid that on heating also gives another white solid, that is calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So here in this reaction, what we know, that calcium carbonate, also called as limestone, upon heating decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. In terms of symbol equation, calcium carbonate decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. 1 molecule of calcium carbonate decomposes into 1 molecule of calcium oxide and 1 molecule of carbon dioxide. So this chemical equation is totally an informative one, in which we get information what a chemical equation tells us is in a way, I can say in a nutshell, it tells us about all information regarding a chemical reaction. Now after that, we will discuss about information not conveyed by a chemical equation. What information a chemical equation does not convey. See, a chemical equation does not tell us about the feasibility of a reaction. What is the meaning of feasibility? The meaning of feasibility is that whether the reaction will take place or not, whether the reaction will be possible or not. It does not tell us about this information. Suppose I have copper plus sulfuric acid, that on reacting forming copper sulfate and hydrogen gas. See, although this reaction we can write in words, we can write in equation, but this reaction does not ever happen. Why? Because copper being such a less reactive metal, it does not show this reaction with sulfuric acid. Now this reaction seems to be quite feasible and is expected, but actually this reaction does not happen at all. Now the next thing is that we cannot get any idea about the rate of the reaction. It does not tell us information about the rate of the reaction. What is the meaning of rate of the reaction? Whether the reaction is possible or not. It does not tell us any information regarding the rate of this reaction. Is this part now clear to you, children? These are all the information that a chemical equation conveys to us. Okay, children? Thank you.